Praise God, here we are once again at Bible Trek, and we are in the book of 1 Samuel. And I want to tell you that the book 1st and 2nd Samuel, it's named that, but in 2nd Samuel, they don't even talk about him.
Oh.
It's because it was all one book. I think we had another book that was like that. They call it 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
But it was one big book, and in order to condense it, or, because I'm sure it was either on tablets or something, it must have been cumbersome, they broke it down.
Okay.
So, 1st and 2nd Samuel is really Samuel,
Okay.
period. Isn't that fun? Also, I'm going to tell you that Samuel, he lived at the end of the period of Judges, and he ushered in the period of kingship. So he was the last judge, the first prophet, because before him, they were priests.
Right.
They weren't called prophets. God wasn't talking to them directly like he talked to Samuel.
Yeah.
So, he's got a distinction. He is the first prophet, the last judge, or vice versa. The last judge, the first prophet. That's just something to know about Samuel. Now, we know he was born in response to his mother's prayer. She wanted a baby so bad. And her husband loved her.
Yeah.
Dearly, and he wanted her to have children as well, but you know, he figured it was what it was. But they traveled every year to the sanctuary in Shiloh, where Eli was the priest there. And he was a well-respected man, a well-respected priest, regardless of what we've heard some folks say about him being evil.
Yeah.
I didn't read anything. His sons, by the way, were evil. So when Samuel was weaned, Hannah had promised him to God. She took him back, and he was under the charge of Eli, the high priest. He was a high priest. Now, Eli's sons were wicked and paganistic. They weren't even following God. But Samuel served the Lord, and soon it became clear that God was speaking to Samuel, even more than Eli. So God spoke to Samuel to warn Eli of the coming disaster when the Philistines defeated Israel and killed his sons and took the Ark of the Covenant. They soon gave it back, though, didn't they?
Yes.
They took it, but they gave it back. Later, under Samuel's leadership, the people repented of their sin of idolatry, and they succeeded in winning an important battle against the Philistines. And you'll find that in chapters 7, 3 through 17. But as Samuel grew older, it became obvious that he suffered from the same weakness as Eli. His sons were bad. His sons were evil. That's what it says. They were evil.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it when I read that. I was like, gee whiz. And the people did not want them to assume leadership over the nation. They wanted a king. So the people saw the need for a king who would lead them in battle against their enemies. So the transition from the era of the judges to kingship was very turbulent. As priest, Samuel prayed for the people. As prophet, he reproved Saul, who had been anointed king, for impatience and disobedience. When God rejected Saul as king, Samuel anointed David as God's chosen one, and he had to protect David from Saul.
Right.
Many times Saul kept trying to kill him. Through prayer and perseverance, Samuel was a faithful leader. He cherished his people's well-being and courageously rebuked kings and elders. He led Israel from tribal disunity to national solidarity and established the monarchy. He wrote the record of Samuel the seer. Now, they say we can find that in 1 Corinthians 29:29. I never knew that. And, yeah. And defined ideal kingship. When he died, he was mourned by all of Israel, and he was buried in Ramah, his hometown. So we are going to jump back into Samuel, but I want us to probably jump over from 3 to I think 5 or 9. It goes through a lot of dissertation about, because he was a man of war. And there was a lot of war going on. It's a turbulent time. It's a lot going on. And let's see. We know about his sons. We know about Eli's sons. And now we can find out about Samuel's sons, because the people who had stolen the Ark of the Covenant had to bring it back. And they had, what did we figure out those things were last week that they had on them? Were they
the boys?
tumors?
Yes.
Yeah, so they were trying to give it back, and what they did is they sent it back into the camp with a cow that had never been tethered.
Right.
And I was like, that's God.
Yeah. Yes.
Because unless you train an animal, they're just going to go willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And the prophet said, if he comes straight into the camp, it's of God.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then it's anybody. Straight into the camp. Just get chill. Okay, so I think we're going to do because we need to jump into I think we're going to jump over some of these other things, and we're going to jump right into probably chapter 9. And I say that because from 3 until 9, there is the word of the Lord was revealed to Samuel, and we know quite a bit of what happened. Phinehas's wife, she dies giving birth, and Phinehas was one of Samuel's sons, and we know they were killed in that big battle. So I think if we go over here to 9, we'll start seeing how the relationship between Samuel and Saul. Okay? Do you want to talk about your the information on crystals after our
It's up to you, whatever.
study? Okay, all right. And I do want to mention again that the record of Samuel the seer, it says can be found in 1st, and I'm sure that's what's the other one? Not Corinthians. Did I say Corinthians? I didn't mean to. Because it's giving me a CHR.
Chronicles?
It must be, because
Okay.
COR is Corinthians.
Yes.
Okay, so 1 Chronicles 29:29, and if somebody writes it down, we can check that out, because I'd like to see what they're saying about that. Okay, and so we will.
1 Chronicles?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because we determined that CHR is Chronicles 29:29, and we'll check that out after we run through beginning in chapter 9. So we're in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 9. I'm going to start us out in verse 1. Now there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Abiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. From his shoulders and upward, he was higher than any of his people. So he's very tall.
Yeah.
And the asses of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. And Kish said to Saul his son, "Take now one of the servants with thee, and arise, go seek the asses." And he passed through Mount Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they found them not. Then they passed through the land of Shalim, and there they were not. And he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they found them not. And when they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant that was with him, "Come, let us return, lest my father leave caring for the asses and take thought for us." Verse 6. And he said unto him, "Behold now, there is in this city a man of God, and he is an honorable man. All that he saith cometh surely to pass. Now let us go thither, peradventure he can show us our way that we should go." Then said Saul to his servant, "But behold, if we go, what shall we bring the man? For the bread is spent in our vessels, and there is not a present to bring to the man of God. What have we?" 8. And the servant answered Saul again and said, "Behold, I have here at hand the fourth part of a shekel of silver. That will I give to the man of God to tell us our way." Before a time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, "Come, and let us go to the seer, that he that is now called a prophet was before a time called a seer." Then said Saul to his servant, "Well said, come, let us go." So they went unto the city where the man of God was. And Teresa, you can pick us up there. We are in 11.
As they went up the hill to the city, they met some young women going out to draw water, and said to them, "Is the seer here?" And they answered them and said, "Yes, there he is, just ahead of you. Hurry now, for today he came to the city, because there is a sacrifice of the people today on the high place. As soon as you come into the city, you will surely find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat until he comes, because he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those who are invited will eat. Now therefore, go up, for about this time you will find him." So they went up to the city. As they were coming into the city, there was Samuel, coming out toward them on his way up to the high place. Now the Lord had told Samuel in his ear the day before Saul came, saying, "Tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him commander over my people Israel, that he may save my people from the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, because their cry has come to me." So when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said to him, "There he is, the man of whom I spoke to you. This one shall reign over my people."
All right, now we're going to recap. So here we are. These two fellows, Saul and his servant, are walking around trying to figure out where the donkeys.
Yeah.
Mine calls them asses.
Yeah.
Same thing. And for the life of me, I see him as a really tall, lanky, kind of happy-go-lucky kind of fella.
Yeah.
Not really concerned about anything. He's looking for these donkeys, but no, not really. I think he's having, a good time.
Yeah.
We're away from my father. I got a servant with me, and we're hanging out.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it was a setup. God already knew what he was going to do with this young man. And I believe it was because of his heart. Because he wasn't an evil person. It said he was goodly.
Yeah.
There was none goodlier than him. And he was tall.
Yeah.
What else you need to be king? And God was on his side.
Yes.
What else? I don't think he needed much else. So here they are, they're looking. The servant tells him, because I guess Saul may not have heard these wonderful things about a prophet. A servant's a little closer to the ground.
Yeah.
He hears these things, and he told him, there's a man here.
Yeah.
He's a man of God. But they knew to honor
Yes.
the man of God with an offering, a gift.
Yes.
He was like, what do I have? I done ate all the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Drank all the milk.
Yeah.
I got nothing. He said, I have
Yeah.
a part of a shekel. I think that's the money that they
Yeah.
used. So they had the shekel. God had already talked to Samuel.
Yeah.
Everything was in place.
Mhm.
Now you're going to take us from there. In 18.
Okay. 17, 18. Just then Samuel approached, and Samuel at the gateway and asked, "Can you please tell me where the seer house is?" "I am the seer." Samuel replied, "Go up to the place of worship and ahead of me, and we will eat there together. In the morning I will tell you when you want to know and send you on your way. And don't worry about those donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, for they have been found. And I am here to tell you that you and your family are the focus of all of Israel's hopes." Samuel replied, "But I am only from the tribe of Benjamin, the smallest tribe in Israel, and my family is the least important of all the tribes of that tribe. Why are you talking like this to me?" Then Samuel brought Saul and his servant into the hall and placed them at the head of the table, honored them about the 30 special guests, and Samuel then instructed the cook to bring Saul the finest cut of meat and the piece that had been set aside for the honored guests. So the cook brought in the meat and placed it in front of Saul. "Go ahead and eat it," Samuel said. "I am saving it for you because I invited these others." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. And when they came down from the place of worship and returned to the town, Samuel took Saul up to the roof of the house and prepared a bed for him. And there, at daybreak the next morning, Samuel called Saul, "Get up, it's time you were on your way." So Saul got ready, and Samuel left the house together. And when they reached the edge of the town, Samuel told Saul to send his servant on ahead, and the servant was gone. And Samuel said, "Stay here, for I have received a special message from God."
All right. So they're getting ready to go to the appointed place.
Yeah.
But Samuel sends the servant, because this is not for him.
Right.
Send him on down the road. And me and you gonna talk. We got some things to talk about. I'd be scared. I don't know. I don't know if I want to stay here with you. I don't know you, sir. And so here we are in chapter 10, and I'm going to read some, and then we're going to talk a little bit. So Samuel anoints Saul. That's the title. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, "Is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre." I think that's Rachel's tomb.
Yes.
"In the border of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found. And lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, what shall I do for my son? Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee 3 men going up to God to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee, and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. After that thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place, with a psaltery, and a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp before them. And they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. And let it be, when these signs are coming to thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings, and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days shalt thou tarry, till I come to thee, and show thee what thou shalt do. Now, this is Samuel talking to Saul. He's anointed him, and he's also told him some remarkably fabulous things that are getting ready to happen in his life. He's also told him about the men that he's going to meet, the prophets he's going to meet, the prophecy that he'll be prophesying with them. I mean, here's a guy that couldn't even find his own donkeys.
Right.
But he's going to be prophesying, and he's going to, the Spirit of the Lord is going to indwell and come upon him to give him the power and the strength that he needs to be king. Because this was just a lanky, tall, happy-go-lucky fellow.
Yeah.
He wasn't even married.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't say he was doing much of anything. But to be chosen by God, the least of these,
Right.
despise not the least of these, because you never know. Look at how God just raised this fella up.
Yeah.
Just a nobody. There is a song by a gospel group called the Williams Brothers, and the song says, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the neatest.
Yes.
Who am I? I'm nobody. But I know somebody that can save anybody. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So here we have Saul getting anointed. I wonder what happens to these fellas. He was a humble spirit. Is it the big head? What happens to him? They get all puffed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because later on, not only is he full of himself, but he starts trying to kill David.
Mm.
What happens to them? What is it? The evil in their heart? No, because God looks on the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It must grow with the responsibility, or it must grow with the
Mm-hmm.
sheer weight of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because God looks on the heart. He looked at this young man's heart. He saw no evil in there. I wonder how long it was from the time he was anointed king right here till he started acting a fool.
I remember reading where he was jealous of David,
Yes.
and that's when he started to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's jealousy.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
The green-eyed
Yeah.
monster?
Yeah.
How many of them is it? Isn't it so many? What is it? 9 things? What is it? envy, jealousy, you know them things?
Wait a minute, malice?
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, I'm gonna start writing. Yes, envy, jealousy, malice. What is it?
I'm trying to remember.
Are they in the Bible? Where do we get them from?
I'm not sure.
What are they
I don't
called?
remember.
I remember hearing about them.
Yeah.
What are they called? Are they vices?
7 deadly sins.
Yes, 7 deadly. All right. Teresa.
Let's write that down. Now, where do we find them? 7 deadly sins. Oh man, I can't pull my phone.
Let me see.
Because
if
I'm
I
recording.
can-
Can
I
you?
will, I will.
Okay, pull it up. It'll tell us where
Yeah.
it is. Let's look them up. Because those are the things that seem to be attacking these good people. They're just losing their minds over
Okay.
carnal things. All right,
You
where do
ready?
we find it? Is it
It didn't give a Bible verse.
okay,
But
let's
it
write them
says
down.
lust,
Mm-hmm.
gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride.
And pride. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm looking at Bible verses about the 7 deadly sins.
Okay, go ahead.
And it says, there's one in Proverbs, Colossians, 1 John, Hebrew, Matthew, Romans, Corinthians, James, another James, Matthew, James, Acts, Revelation, John, Ezekiel, Luke, John, and it goes on.
So it takes each of them and gives biblical scripture.
I'm gonna
So does it, so
Okay.
let's say for lust, where does it take us?
let me see. It says Proverbs chapter 6. These 6 things does the Lord hate. Ye 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren.
Okay, and I have another one. The concept of the 7 deadly sins has its origin in Christian theology and tradition. These sins are considered practicality, served and associated with moral transgression, and that can lead to damnation if you repent. The list of the 7 deadly sins developed over time, but Pope Gregory and I formalized in the 6th century.
Pope Gregory.
Yeah, and it says lust, expensive desires for sexual gratification, gluttony, overindulgence or consumption of food or drink, greed, excessive desire for material or wealth and possessions, sloth, laziness, avoidance of work or duty, wrath, intense and uncontrolled anger and hatred, envy, jealous and resentment towards others' success or positions, pride, excessive belief in one's ability or qualifies it is often considered the root of all the other sins.
It said pride goes before the fall, right?
Okay, and it says the sins are practicality and directed to the soul and are called deadly because they can lead to spiritual death if not repent and forgiven. The concept of the deadly sins has been influential in Christian teaching and literature and art, serving as a moral framework to guide believers into leading various lives.
That lady is talking to us.
Who?
What is her name? Siri,
Oh, the
she
computer?
listens.
the computer?
Yeah, I did a video on that. They listen.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I found
So,
that list on Bible Info.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Bible info, because I'm going to put that information in the comments section for those of you at home who are listening. We have stumbled upon a place that gives us the 7 deadly sins. Our concern was what happens to these leaders once they've been vetted by God. Now, to be vetted by God, you are the creme de la creme. You're the top of the top. What in the world happens to these people that they get the big head? Well, it's the 7 deadly sins. And when we look at Saul, we see he has how many? He's envious.
Jealous.
That's one. He's very angry. That's his wrath. And I don't know if it's pride or no, because he's envious. He's jealous
Yeah.
of David.
Yeah.
So he has 2 of the 7.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Now,
And then
it breaks it down.
Mm-hmm.
And in lust, they gave Matthew 5:28.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to write them down. What they give
And
you for
then-
gluttony? Did they give you some for the
Okay,
others?
I'm trying to. All right.
Oh, this is good. And you'll have to tell me where you got yours from.
And it says sexual immorality, Corinthians 6:18.
Corinthians.
6:18.
So that's still lust though, right?
Yes. Now with gluttony is Proverbs 23, 20, 21.
Okay.
And let's see.
This is great.
Greed,
This up. Mm-hmm.
it doesn't give. Oh yeah, Luke 12:15.
Oh, trust me. If they started it, they're gonna finish it. They're all gonna be there.
And also Timothy 6:10.
Mm-hmm.
And sloth is Proverbs 13:4.
Mm-hmm.
And also sloth is Ecclesiastics 9:10.
Mm-hmm.
Now wrath
Mm-hmm.
is Psalms 37:8. Envy is Exodus 20:17.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still envy 14:30.
I'm sorry. Go back. What did you say?
Envy,
I have Exodus 20:17.
okay, and there's another one for Proverbs 14:30.
Proverbs 14:30. Got it.
Okay, pride
Mm-hmm.
is also Proverbs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 16:18.
Mm.
And there's another one for pride, and that's Proverbs 11:2.
All right.
Okay, then.
For those of you at home listening, I will be putting it in the comments section so you'll have these. I believe these are the kinds of things that we need to teach our children. We need to know where to find these at so we can read it for ourselves and know that these are deadly sins. They're sin and these are the deadliest sins that can cause you to lose your place in the kingdom. Now, anything that'll do that, I need to be telling you about it from the day you're born. You need to know about it. The same way we teach them John 3:16, and we teach them other things of life. This should be part of that training. I'm just so adamant that because as an adult, I didn't even know where to find them. I've been studying the Bible most of my life. I've been in church all my life. I didn't even know where to find them, which means there's not enough emphasis placed on these deadly sins. And so, we find that Saul has been anointed to be king over God's people. And of the 7 deadly sins, he is guilty of 2. That's a lot. And we will find that he does some good work. But we get down into the weeds here. I think when we get about chapter 16 or so, he starts to get a little weird. Now, is he the one that God turned him out to pasture? And he ate like a wild animal?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that was somebody else.
I want to find out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But was he, here in 9, was he a prophet?
Who?
Saul.
Samuel?
Saul.
Saul. Nope. The prophet
'Cause
is
they questioned
Samuel. Yeah. The prophet is Samuel. Saul is a king. He's been anointed a king. And you know, that's a good thing for us to make that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come into, he came from the tribe of Benjamin, which is the smallest one.
Yeah.
And he was not an outstanding, except for the fact that he was very, very tall.
Right.
And he was goodly. He was a good soul.
Uh-huh.
That's about it. He was neither a prophet nor a priest or any of that. It's just, again, the amazing providence of a God. Capable and able to do anything with anyone. Because he rose this fella up. Now, he was able to do some, he went into battle, he did some things.
Yeah.
Because when we get to 11, we're going to see that Saul defeats King Nahash. He couldn't have done that on his own. This is, again, a man who couldn't even find his donkey.
Yeah.
Okay, that's in 11.
Yeah, that's going to be 11. And I think what we're going to do is we are probably going to shut down here, and because we have some other things that we want to discuss. We also want to mention the name without the last name of the individuals that we were asked to pray for in church yesterday. I want to add them to our list, and hopefully we can get a running list so that we know where we stand with our folks. I know Lala had started writing them down, but I think it's going to be good for us to keep our own record, and continue to keep her in prayer.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know what is what, but yes, we know that we can pray. And I'd like to take this opportunity, do we have any praise reports? Now, I know we've had some additional tribulation to come in our life. You lost the young man that we just started praying for. But again, it is the will of God.
Right.
That is our desire. In our prayer, we never seek to override what God's will for that person's life might be. However, we can ask. There is no harm in asking. Many biblical characters have asked God and been granted.
Yeah.
The young person, and again, I know stories, and not. He turned his head to the wall. He was very sick, and he said, "Lord, I've been a good servant. I've served you, and now I'm going to die, and I just think I have so many more years that I could give." And the Lord granted him an additional, I think it was another
15, right?
15
Yeah.
years. just for the asking.
Yes.
So we can always intercede and we can ask, but we never seek to, override the will of God. So anyway, I'm saying that we were praying for our brother, and it was the will of God that he leave this life and this pain.
Yes.
And we're thankful
Yeah.
that he's no longer suffering.
Right.
Now it is time to pray for those who are left behind,
Right.
because those are the ones now who are having
Yes.
issues. And I talked to a lady, she told me, I just don't like God anymore.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay, what can I do
To change.
No, what can I do what can I pray for? What can I say? He took my third husband?
Oh.
I said, Lord, have mercy, baby. I said, you've had 2 more husbands than I ever had. So I'm gonna pray for you. But you're on the right track. Maybe there's another one in the wings for you, But she's angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I continue to pray for her.
Yeah.
Diane Turberville, that's your cousin? Your cousin?
I don't know the last name.
No.
Turberville?
No.
Diane McFadden. Diane. Oh, this must be. Is this Vicky's people? I don't know.
Might be.
I'm gonna leave that name there. I didn't have it along with it. I separated it
Yeah.
for some reason. So, or it could be Miss Lala.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that.
Yeah.
But, so if we don't have any praise reports, can you then read the first names of the people that we are going to be in prayer for? And I'm gonna start somebody, and I guess I'll do it. Start tallying it because I know Miss
Okay.
Lala has some.
It's a Miss Butler.
Okay.
And
Do we know what we're praying for?
I'm not sure, I didn't write it down.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, the Green family, there were 2 deaths
Oh,
in that
yes.
family.
The Green family. Yeah, they have multiple.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We're gonna add these to, our running list. This was a special prayer request from St. Mary's Missionary Baptist Church here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And while we were at service yesterday, the pastor specifically asked for prayer for these folks. Missionary Baptist. All right, and we're going to continue to keep Miss Lala in prayer.
Yeah.
Anyone else that we need to add?
My cousin Sharon, her husband Carl that died, and her daughter Jennifer, please.
Sharon's daughter.
Yeah. And the
Jennifer.
grandchildren, because they
And the
knew the
grands.
grandpa.
Right. That was Sharon's husband that passed.
Yes.
Carl. Was her husband. Daughter Jennifer, and these are Jennifer's children.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And my
Yes.
friend Mary in Texas.
Mary.
She's a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
She lost one of her legs, like from her thigh, half of her thigh down. I told you about her earlier, I believe.
Yes, because she can't put the prosthetic on. yet.
Right. She has to wait a year.
How much more time?
A full year, they said.
And that's
Yeah.
something I
Yeah.
never knew that. So what does she do in the meantime?
Well, she's
Crutches?
doing physical therapy. She has a wheelchair, and
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I don't think she can really do too well on crutches. You know?
No, because
Yeah.
it's your, you have to be centered.
Yeah,
You will.
yeah. But she has a wheelchair. Yeah. And my friend Diane in Texas also. She got the shingles
Yes.
And she still has the burning in her nerves every day. Yeah.
It's the nerve ending.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
My mother had got the shingles,
Oh,
and what's it, on her back.
oh.
Put a shirt on,
Yeah.
touch it, go, wow,
Yeah.
it's terrible. And I kept thinking you only got it if you never had chicken pox. But that's not
You
true.
know, you can get it.
You can
Because
get it
you
if you
carry
have
that
chicken.
virus in you.
Yeah.
Right, it's just there.
I've got one more, Kathy Hewling. She will be having, she has AFib, and they're gonna go in and they're gonna burn the nerve endings.
Is that a procedure that
Yeah,
they
but it's
usually
like,
do?
through catheterization. She was born with her heart upside down and didn't know until she was in her 70s.
In her 70s?
Yeah.
Look at God.
Yeah.
Her 70s.
70s. Yeah,
Upside down.
upside down.
Okay, so when we look at a picture of a heart, it's got those valves at the
Yeah.
top.
Hers is
And
the
so
opposite.
hers is the opposite.
I know.
Ooh, God.
That's a God thing, keeping her alive those
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah.
What a Christian woman she is, that's for sure. Because she cardiac arrested and they brought her back.
And that's when they figured out it was,
Yeah, well, he went in and he said, something's not right. I'm trying to go this route and I can't. And then he realized that the heart was upside down.
what a miracle.
Yeah.
And I use the same doctor as she does, so he's awesome. Pray for Dr. Shim that, he's from Poland and he is trying to
Is he a
get,
cardiologist? What is he?
he's an electrophysiologist, you know, cardiologist, yeah, in the heart. And he is trying to get, his wife's, K1 visa here. They got married last year and she became pregnant and he went back over to Poland, went to have the baby, and they're separated again.
We want to pray for Dr. Shim and his wife.
But she
And
had
his
a
baby.
and
Yeah.
she had a little girl.
And his wife and his daughter. Bible says to be specific in our supplication, so we want to be specific.
Can you add my niece, Bonnie,
Yes.
please?
Bonnie, what are we praying for? All right. Restoration.
Yeah.
God is able to do anything and everything that we ask.
Amen.
Well, we want to thank God for all of the requests. We want to thank God for those who have joined us today. We are so grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to join us on this trip through antiquity. We're enjoying the book of Samuel. We're learning a lot. Tell somebody. Bring somebody along with you and share. We thank you so much for your patience. It's been some difficulties. Some things are going on, but that's okay. Whenever we get together, 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, we never know what the enemy thinks he's able to do, but he is already defeated. So we thank God for each and every one of you. Continue to keep one another in prayer until we meet again. Thank you.